a dog that comes to daycare every day or 3 times a week, it gets to play with other dogs. Then when it's on the walk and another dog comes up to the fence, he's like, I've already played with these guys. I already know what other dogs are all about. But another dog, it's not a surprise to them. They already know what it is.
Hello and welcome back to Mills County Roots. I'm here at S&B Country Kennel with Joe Huntoon. Joe Huntoon has built an absolutely phenomenal facility here. Joe, welcome.
Thank you.
I appreciate you having me in here, and we're here in Joe's office at the kennel, and I'm just really excited to be here and to get the opportunity to interview you. I tell everybody I know about you and about the kennel and about what you're doing here because I really believe in what you're doing, and it's really exciting. And I'll say really quick that when any dogs come in the door, they come running to you, and you can tell that you love what you do and that you really pour your heart into the dogs. So really appreciate that.
And kudos to my staff because they get the same treatment, and they're with the dogs more than I am now. I used to be with the dogs every day, but now it's the staff, and it's really neat to see that I wouldn't say legacy, but that carried on.
It kind of is legacy actually, because you draw the kind of people that you are, and you make those decisions, right? And I know you don't have anybody here that doesn't love those dogs.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, and you know it because the dogs never lie.
Right.
I can lie all I want, but the dogs never lie. When they come running in and run back, and they know where they're going, or they run up to one of their handlers that they know, and they're giving hugs and all that, and that's what tells me that things are being run right.
Right.
They're doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's nice, and thank you for appreciating your staff like that. But
I can't do it without my staff.
Yeah, I really want to talk about you though. Tell me about when you decided to work with dogs and got started, and how you ended up here.
So I started, the property that I live at now had a building on there that I believe it was used as a dog breeder or something. And so someone had put the idea in my head, and I built the kennels and everything in there, and I started off with 12 kennels.
Oh.
And within the next few years, I built some more kennels, and I got it all the way up to about 25 to 26 kennels.
Okay.
And then some Council Bluffs kennels had closed down. I counted up the number of kennels in the area, and it was like with my 25 and Shaggy Dog has like 25 or 26 and a couple other kennels. It totaled 68 kennels for the whole area to service dogs, which is not enough to service everybody, especially if we have some coming from Omaha. So in 2022, we made the decision to grow.
Yeah.
And that was just shortly after both Council Bluffs kennels had closed down.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That was an opportune time for you to build this.
Yeah, we tried to corner the market and build something so large so that we wouldn't outgrow it in 2 years.
Yeah.
And on year 3, we did hit the max capacity. So,
well, go big or go home, right?
Right. Well, I've been doing a lot of marketing, and I'm trying to pull more from Omaha, and the word's getting out.
Yeah.
There's nobody doing what we do here in the whole Midwest. I mean, nobody's putting dogs together like we do. Nobody's taking all the dogs that we do.
Right. It's amazing. Let's talk for a minute about all the dogs, because you have big dogs, small dogs, medium. You have 3 categories you put them into. What are those categories? It's really fun.
So when we want to grow our daycare, it's the old timers, the party animals, and the little dogs.
Yeah, that's really cute. So, but now you take different sized dogs, and you have a huge dog park. It's like a members only dog park that you have. And do people come during the day and bring their dog, and then
Yeah,
and yeah, that's
they can show up at any time and go in the gate. They let their dogs run around. Maybe they meet some friends. That's what eventually would like to see is people or their dogs actually
Yeah.
becoming friends, and then it's like, well, let's meet here tomorrow at 10 o'clock or something,
Yeah.
and just kind of making that grow. And
It's
so we're going
awesome.
to try to push that
Yeah.
a little more and more this summer.
Yeah.
We're gonna host some more like large field socials, and Sarah, my manager, was talking about possibly having like movie nights or
Oh, that's
some having a
great.
little
Yeah.
cabana bar out there or something. She was talking
Oh,
about. So
fun.
we're
Yeah.
talking some plans for
Really
the park.
building a community of dog
Right, exactly.
owners.
That's
Yeah, yeah, that's
exactly.
awesome. So on premise here, you've built this beautiful venue out here and out to the east, and you have a pond out there and a stage, and so
Yeah.
you have a facility for rental as well.
Yeah, so it just starts off that when you enter the facility, that's your first impression.
Yeah.
And so I wanted a good first impression, planting the trees. I already had the pond because I dug the hole to use the dirt. And so we built the pond, put a fountain on it, and the deck by the pond was actually built as a stage so that we can host community events, we can have fundraisers, and actually have live music out there and do things. Then it kind of moved forward, with community events is you can rent the space.
Yeah, that's great.
So I had a call for potentially a graduation party and renting the space out there.
That's wonderful. Yeah. At S&B Country Kennel. So if you're looking for a place for your graduation parties or
Yeah.
summer events or, just want to hire a band and have a party out there and yeah.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Yeah. So also on the facility here, you have a dog wash room and a groomer on site.
Yep.
Yeah. So your groomer is your groomer a staff member?
So the grooming is Four Paw Dog Spa. So Shar owns it. She rents from me. But as we grow, we're kind of talking to her about growing as well.
Yeah.
We're potentially going to build another building to facilitate all of the daycare dogs. So we might move her out there so that we have 3 or 4 groomers on staff that can get those dogs in and out a lot quicker. The self wash here it's just exactly that. It's the only self wash on this side of the river. Bring your dog. We have towels. We have shampoos, conditioners, colognes.
Oh.
We have a blow dryer down there. Just leave the mess with us. It's $20.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice service if and it's easier a lot for a lot of people than dropping their dog off at the groomer.
Right.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to just go in, clean your dog, and are they like waist high?
So those tubs, they do raise and lower. So,
Oh, wow.
So you don't have to get a stiff back. Yeah. A lot of people that drop their dogs off, either for boarding or for daycare, they're like, can I get a go-home bath? So then we also have go-home baths.
Oh,
We've been
nice.
selling those like hotcakes
Yeah.
too. So the go-home baths are only $30. So it's like $10 for us to wash your dog for you.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So
well, hey,
fun.
that's a great service.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so you've got that, and you have daycare, and you have overnight stays or more lengthy stays. Let's talk a little bit about the typical day of a daycare dog. A dog comes in for daycare. How does that look?
Okay, so coming on in, most dogs will know exactly where they're going. They run down the hallway, and this is for large dogs, and then they go into the daycare room, and they're in there playing, with their friends, running and chasing each other for about an hour and a half or so, and then we'll put them into their crates. Let me back up. The daycare room that we have for large dogs is a 30 by 50 room, and the yard is about 5,500 square feet. That room is lined with 48 and 54-inch crates. So every dog would have its own space to take a nap in and lay down. We let them lay down for an hour, hour and a half, and we let them back out to do it all over again. And they run and play and all that stuff. And it just kind of keeps everybody safe when you put them down for a nap, so they have that downtime.
Sure. Wow, that is impressive management of the dogs and of the facility. But that gives those dogs structure and a sense of security too, I'm sure, because they have that sense of they're safe in their crate.
Yeah.
I think dogs feel that, especially if they've ran their energy off. And
Yep. And on those crates, I even put I'll call it blinders or anti-fight panels. So when the dog's in the crate, it cannot see the dogs on either side. So they're not sitting there barking at their neighbor. So they can only see what's across from them. So I reconfigured some things on those crates.
yeah, very nice. Give them that privacy and that security, and they're not feeling that threat. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. You also you say you take all dogs. So, and when you say you take all dogs, as we've talked about in another conversation, you have no touch dogs that can't be touched, and you can still take them.
Yep.
Like aggressive dogs, or that a dog that is not socialized,
Or even
with.
potentially a canine officer dog.
Okay.
Sometimes the officers themselves don't want you handling their dog because of liability reasons. Because we wouldn't know how to shut that thing off. The dog.
Right.
So sometimes not. We do take a lot of canines, and we can let them out individually. Once they're off duty, they don't pose a threat to us, but they're not all like that. If that's the case, we just have the owner would just bring the dog and put the dog in the kennel itself, and we close the gate, carabiner it. We have a doggy door that goes outside, and we can put a training block on it that holds the door partially open, so they'll know that it's outside. So then we're also able to trap that dog outside or inside, so we can clean the outside run or clean the inside run and feed and water them as well.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, though, within 3 or 4 days, we can usually the dogs get used to us, and we've been able to get out a couple of the dogs,
Right.
and get them out into the yard or the park.
Well, you're kind of the dog whisperer, so that doesn't really surprise me.
I'm not the only one that does it, though. Like, Jason's able to do that as well.
Oh, that's great.
He definitely puts a lot of time in with the dogs as well. So
Yeah, that's
I'll give him a little plug. Jason's good.
Yeah. So you can take professional canines, you can take aggressive dogs, you can have dogs that intermingle and play and enjoy
Social,
each
yep.
other. Yeah.
We take a lot of young dogs. So if somebody gets a puppy and they want to bring their dog to daycare, most problems with puppies is they're not potty trained. So we integrate them. We can start a small puppy, even a German Shepherd or anything, in our small dogs, and we're also potty training them along the way, crate training them, and socializing them.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of all built into daycare. And as that puppy grows, it would go into the large dogs, and then they're going to be social over there. They're going to learn that crate time isn't just a time to freak out.
Yeah.
And they know they're going to get let back out.
Yeah. Well, I know you have a very innate talent for this, but I also know that you took some training. So you trained to train dogs, right?
Yeah. So when I was started at my home, I had a real passion for socializing dogs, and I loved watching dogs play.
Yeah.
It wasn't always easy because not all dogs play together, I learned. So I was doing things, and I learned along the way. I made a lot of mistakes. And in 2019, I went down to Texas, and I trained with Jason Vasconi and Heather Beck to deal with difficult dogs, and also to large field social. I was doing the socials just on a smaller scale at that facility, and when they were going over the rules and everything on the board, I'm like, yeah, I know why you do that. So yeah. I had figured out those rules, and that's basically you're figuring out dog behavior. It's all across the board. Once you figure out dogs,
yeah,
you can just move them around.
Yeah. Well, I never have figured that out. I've spoiled a lot of dogs in my life.
The dog will tell you. Yeah. You just got to speak dog.
Yeah, right. See? That's why it's a good idea to bring your dog here, especially a puppy, because a lot of people are putting their puppy through puppy training or doing it themselves, but this reinforces it. And I could see where that would create a good regularity for the dog if they're getting the same the same kind of, oh, I guess structure.
Structure,
Yeah,
yeah.
the same kind of structure. It would reinforce the training that's already going on.
So the problem with a lot of people now is that they get a puppy and the puppy goes in their yard and their house and their yard and their house, and it never gets to really have a chance to interact with other dogs. And people will take dogs to dog parks, and that's not the greatest idea. But then they're taking their puppy on a walk, and their puppy's pulling all over because it's maybe barking at the dog in the neighbor's yard over here, and they start thinking their dog is actually aggressive because of the way it pulls and barks at other dogs. It doesn't mean the dog is just aggressive. That's just barrier aggression. So it's just at the end of the leash. We just try to remove those barriers
Yeah.
and let them actually play. And what that does is a dog that comes to daycare every day or 3 times a week, it gets to play with other dogs. Then when it's on the walk and another dog comes up to the fence, he's like, yeah, I've already played with these guys. I already know what other dogs are all about.
Right.
Another dog, it's not a surprise to them. They already know what it is.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because they're pack animals, and we take them out of their pack to make a pet out of them, and
Yeah.
so they have to be taught to repack.
Yeah,
Right.
they're only a
Yeah.
semi-domesticated apex
Yeah.
predator.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, well, I also am really like overwhelmingly impressed with the nonprofit that you've started, and the depth of the thought that went into that. Uh, Tell a little bit about what that nonprofit does.
Okay, yeah. So we just started a nonprofit last year. The name of it's Heartland Rescue. Um, I started pulling my own dogs under my rescue, S&B Country Kennel, about 8 years ago. Obviously, I wasn't getting any funding for this, so I was buying all the dog food and the vetting and all of that stuff, and then getting them adopted out and whatever under my own name. Well, so I started a nonprofit for that as well, but it's like many other nonprofits. We just bring in dogs and we adopt dogs out. But I wanted to do something a little bit different, and then I knew there was a need for it because I was getting calls from some of these people, domestic violence. They needed a place for their dogs so that she could leave the situation and secure housing and jobs. An individual going into rehab. He brought his dog here, entered into rehab, was successful, was able to come actually back here and visit his dog. He had tried going into rehab 3 different times, and his dog was kicked, stabbed, and starved. So he failed out of rehab. And like I said, the last time stuck, and his caseworker told me after she got him housing and everything and got him, she said, Joe, if it wasn't for you guys over there, she thinks that he would have died.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I was like, no way. I said, don't put that
Wow.
on me.
Yeah. I could see, no, I could see that because the dog or the
The
individual.
human.
Yeah, right.
The
Well,
human.
that's what I was going to address. I could see that because, you know, dogs are such wonderful companions, and there are therapy dogs for a reason. And with someone that was that wrapped up in that addiction and that clenched
Yeah,
trap of addiction,
you've
there
already burned all your bridges at that time, at that point,
maybe that dog's all they have left,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, the that addiction takes everything away from you eventually. But you know what? Perhaps that dog, she said, she thought he would have died if he didn't have that dog to come back to, if it hadn't been for you holding that dog for him and caring for that dog, because uh, maybe that's the last hope. Maybe that's the motivator to get well. Maybe that's,
Yeah.
address the demons and
what-
overcome the demons.
That's what worked for me.
Is that what worked for you?
Alcohol was my
Yeah.
drug
Yeah.
of choice, but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it did enough damage to my life.
Right.
I lost my own dogs, and S&B stands for Cheyenne Boston, and they're tattooed on my back, and they were my 2 dogs. I did get them back, and I've been sober for going on 14 years now.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
That there's been alcoholism in my family, so I understand it pretty well, and I commend you highly. And not only have you overcome it, Joe, but you've built this huge, gorgeous facility, and it's continually growing.
Yeah.
And congratulations to you. You're such a you are such an example for someone having the inspiration to turn their life around. Thank you for being that and for doing that, and you have a good heart.
I try. I mean,
Yeah,
I try.
yeah.
That's a huge compliment. Try to follow that.
I think you can't help it. You just have a good heart. I don't
Yeah,
think
I'm
you have to
blushing.
try.
I'm
Yeah.
blushing. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'd like to go out and take a little bit of film of the facility a little bit. Well, you got some new project stuff going on, construction right out here outside
Yep.
the building, and like to look at the park and the dog runs and the
The
crates, the
yards.
crate areas.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Just it's kind of winter right now, so
yeah,
it's not as pretty.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk before we wrap this up. Let's talk about where you're located.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're right off I-29 heading south, and we're on the Bellevue exit. We're 1 mile west of the interstate. We're 2 miles east of the Bellevue toll bridge.
Right.
So right on Bungie Avenue.
Yeah. Yeah, great. And when you're coming from either direction, there's a blue and black sign
Yep.
that says S&B Country Kennel, and watch for that on the west
North
side,
side.
north side,
North side.
north side. Yeah, that's
Yep.
east and west. Okay, yeah,
Yep.
on the north side of the road. Yeah, and so Joe, thank you for letting me come in and interview you, and thank you. Really thank you for your transparency, for talking about your own challenges. Appreciate that, and I appreciate you uh, opening up everything to Mills County roots, and you are in great proximity to Mills County, and it's worth every mile to get here.
We're in Mills County.
Oh, this is Mills County. Yeah.
Mills
Okay.
County, Council Bluffs.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
weird location.
Mills County, Council Bluffs.
It is.
Really interesting. I didn't know
Pot
about
County is the next road.
those lines.
Yeah, the next
Yeah.
road is Pot County.
Yeah. So
We're in Mills
this
County.
is Council Bluffs proper. Wow. Well, that's interesting. Well, that gives you an idea of where Joe's located then, right here on the edge, but
Yeah.
at the Bellevue exit. So
Yep.
yeah. So, well, Joe, thanks again. I appreciate it very much.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for watching Mills County Roots, and I've been talking with Joe Huntoon, and we'll see you again tomorrow.